What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games, and today I'm going to be making my very first held item tier list for Pokemon Unite. And there's a lot of item discussions going around, what needs to be buffed, what needs to be nerfed, especially ahead of the mobile launch in about a week. So I'm very excited to give my thoughts and feelings on this. And if you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button, and I really appreciate that. So diving right into our tier list, we're going to start with a very easy pick here. I'm going to go with Buddy Barrier up in S tier. So S tier is going to be our cream of the crop, the best tier, and potentially what needs to be nerfed. And I think Buddy Barrier is a problem item right now for the meta, as this item can be run on everyone very successfully because of the raw HP that this item gives naturally. So everyone's gonna be bulky, and especially the defenders and all-arounders in this game right now really do appreciate that extra bulk. But attackers can run this very successfully. And the big thing about Buddy Barrier right now is that the item's ability grants a shield to you and a nearby ally with the lowest HP when you're using your Night move. So pretty much this gives you and your ally a second wind in the middle of combat. And at level 20, this is a 30% shield, which is most likely what everyone's gonna be running at, is all these items at level 20. So we'll try to talk in level 20 terms. So Buddy Barrier, just completely insane. It just gives everyone a second life. The fact that it gives you a shield is pretty crazy, because shields in this game are definitely very broken if you combine it with an item like Score Shield. So Buddy Barrier and Score Shield are like bread and butter items in a way, because they have such great unison together. So it's just one of those items where it's like, man, Buddy Barrier just seems a little bit too good, and I like the idea with the shield. However, I think the HP buff may be too high. So I think the best thing they could do with Buddy Barrier is probably nerfing the HP buff a bit, or maybe nerfing the passive by 5% on the shield, because the shield is pretty ridiculous, especially when you have someone like a Wigglytuff whose Unite ability already gives everyone a shield on the team, and then she's going to be giving herself and another ally an even bigger shield on top of that shield from the Unite. So just one of those things where Buddy Barrier definitely needs to be toned down a bit. And coming up next, I think the other S tier item in the game is a Muscle Band. And man, Muscle Band is absolutely insane. And the reason why this item is insane, it increases your attack damage, which is really good, and your attack speed for your basic attacks, which is really crazy. And the passive is deals additional damage with basic attacks based on the target's remaining HP. So that means your basic attacks do bonus damage based on how low the enemy's HP is, which means it sort of becomes an execute. So the Muscle Band not only is amazing for physical attacker or Pokemon who use physical attack damage, so someone like Greninja would count because they use their attack stat and not a special attack stat, but this is also incredible for special attackers, because that even though a special attacker only gets special attack damage on their third auto attack, you know what's better than having more damage on your third auto attack? Getting to that third auto attack even more and more and more. So you're going to do more damage, and whatever effect your third auto attack is going to have is going to proc more often. So that's going to be better than just doing more damage in general, and you're still doing more damage because of the passive, and your first two attacks are getting boosted either way, whether you're an attacker or a special attacker. So this is a crazy item, and I think it needs to be nerfed. I mean, someone like Ninetales loves this item, and they are a special attacker. I really can't think of a special attacker that does not want to run Muscle Band if they are going as a full-on aggressive Pokemon, honestly. It's really crazy. And it sort of nullifies Wise Glasses and Shell Bell a bit, just because how good it is. It's sort of crazy, honestly. Man, and so I think these are two items need to be nerfed: Buddy Barrier and Muscle Band. I don't know how you nerf Muscle Band. I think honestly, Muscle Band's attack speed can probably be lowered by a percent or two, and that's probably a nice little nerf for it. It'll still be very usable, but I think that'll be a decent nerf. And let's go into our D tier and do not eat. I'm gonna call this, because this is leftovers here. Leftovers is awful. Leftovers gives you a raw HP boost, less than Buddy Barrier, and you get HP recovery over time, and your passive is recovers HP over time while out of combat. What? It takes 8 seconds out of combat. 8 seconds is a long time, and at a 1.5% rate. This is awful. Or a 2% rate. This is awful. This is awful. 8 seconds is way too long. Their HP is not worth it, especially considering something like Buddy Barrier that exists that gives you huge HP, and even Score Shield gives you a really big HP amount. I just can't see how leftovers in this state is just a wasted item, and this is a trap for new people to throw their enhancers in. And luckily I was able to dodge it. I didn't dodge some of these other ones, but man, definitely don't touch leftovers. I think the best way to improve leftovers is remove 8 seconds and make it 5, increase the HP by maybe like 150, and maybe the HP recovery from like maybe by 10 more points overall. Or the percent. I think the percent could be pretty decent. Maybe make it 2% at level 20 instead of 1.5. And I think that could be really good. I still don't know if it'd be better in Buddy Barrier though and Score Shield. But yeah, leftovers is just not great right now. And let's go into Assault Vest. And I think Assault Vest is going to be B tier. And I used to love this item because it does give raw HP and a big special defense buff. And it's giving 15% max HP as well, which is pretty good. So it gives 15% HP of a shield against special attack damage. So that's pretty good. I think the issue is there are a lot of physical attackers right now, and if you're not facing someone who's using special attacks, Assault Vest sort of doesn't really do too well, and you can't just see the enemy team. So if I could see the opponent's team and then pick my item, like if there was like a draft format and I could pick my items based on the enemy's team, then yeah, I think Assault Vest could be A tier for sure, but currently in the meta right now, HP boost is good, special defense boost is good, is more than Focus Band for sure, but Focus Band covers the best of both worlds with defense and defense and special defense, so you might as well just go with that in my opinion. And I just don't see Assault Vest run too much anymore. I used to run it a lot, but I think this is one of the items you just have to sort of avoid. And then there's Aos Cookie. I'm gonna put this down to C tier. And so Aos Cookie gives you a raw HP buff. So it's going to be giving you 200 max HP, right? But whenever you score a goal, your maximum HP will increase, and the stacks are caps at 6 stacks. So the cool thing about items like this is it doesn't matter if you score 1 point or 50 points, is all going to give you another stack. So the more stacks you have, the higher your HP. So the issue of Aos Cookie is this only really works on a few Pokemon right now. I think someone like Crustle would really appreciate this, as they can use Score Shield and Score. Like, I think this is an item that requires someone to have Score Shield to use. But then I'm like, why would I pick Aos Cookie over Buddy Barrier? Because Buddy Barrier just gives me this raw HP already, which is more than Aos Cookie, and then that additional shield. And the issue of Aos Cookie is if you don't get off scores, then the item's really useless. So that's the issue with score items right now in the meta is, if you're not getting the scores off, then you don't really have an item. While there's a bunch of items where you don't need to do anything and you're getting their full effect and their crazy effects. So I think it's an average item overall. And attack weight, I'm going to also put into C tier. I think this is an all right. I mean, it's sort of the same issue as Aos Cookie, except instead of HP, you're going to be getting attack damage and also 6 stacks. I think it's a little bit worse, honestly, so I'm probably going to add another D tier. Let's add a row here. Yeah, I think this is another D tier item, because at least HP is usable from everyone, but attack weight is only going to be usable on the physical attackers who want to use attack damage, but it doesn't have something like Muscle Band where everyone wants to use it, and there's such a huge disparity between something like attack weight and Muscle Band, where attack weight only gives you 12 additional attack at level 20. It's just not great for an item, honestly, while Muscle Band is giving you 15, and that's just crazy to me. It's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. I mean, attack weight is just, it's just a way worse Muscle Band. At least if attack weight had like auto attack speed in it, then yeah, I would go with attack weight, but it's just not great. Energy Amp, I think, is a solid B tier item. So Energy Amp increases your energy gather rate and lowers your cooldown on your move. So I think that's actually pretty fantastic overall. and it does increase your damage as well of your Unite move. I think this move is really good on certain Pokemon like a Zeraora, who just loves to spam their Unite move whenever they get it. And it increases their damage for 4 seconds while using their Unite move. So yeah, someone who just wants to go and do a crazy burst damage and come out fantastic. I think the issue with this item right now is it just sees so little usage right now just because how oppressive these other items are. And I only really see this usable on a couple Pokemon, really. I think maybe someone like Pikachu or Zeraora are probably some of the best Pokemon for this right now. But currently, it's hard to beat the slots right now when, I mean, I think something like Scope Lens ends up being overall better than Energy Amp right now. Experience share, I'm going to throw up into B tier. So this is an item I'd only recommend if you're a support, and also you should only have one experience share in your team. So this item increases your HP and your speed. It increases the Pokemon's passive EXP gain while it has the lowest EXP points on the team. So if you're like a Blissey lane, you don't want to like get kills, but you know, you're going to be getting some EXP. And when your teammate nearby defeats a Pokemon, you also get some EXP. So it's actually pretty good. I mean, at level 20, you're getting 4 EXP a second. So that's pretty solid overall. And yeah, the HP and the speed boost is very nice. I think the only issue of EXP share right now is you can't really see if your teammates are also using this item. So if someone else is also using it, then you're sort of both screwed when it comes to getting the experience. So that's like the one mix up. I actually think this item's in a good place, and I think B tier is a very usable tier. I think B and up is like items you could really use, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, I wouldn't necessarily put on A just because I don't see it run a lot on usage, and I don't see a lot of builds using it. So currently the meta doesn't really need supporters using this item. So maybe buff the overall HP of this item, and maybe it'll be more comparable to like a Buddy Barrier. And Floatstone is a solid D tier item. So this is the first item at max level 20, and I completely regret it. So this item increases your attack and speed, and your movement outside of combat is increased, but it has to be 8 seconds out of combat. Your speed overall does not matter. And that's like the big thing. If you're a fast Pokemon, you probably have a dash, and you don't really need the speed. Yeah, having raw attack's good, but that's not going to be better than Muscle Band, and that's not going to be better than Scope Lens, who's going to give you crit chances, and which is going to be insane damage. So out of the two other physical items that I would rank a lot higher than Floatstone just doesn't do it because the speed is the unique part of it, and I just don't think it competes. I think this item probably needs some sort of rework or some sort of just look at it again. So I'm gonna put Focus Band up in A tier. I think this is a really good item. I mean, special defense and defense at level 20, getting 20 points in both stats is incredible. This is just your go-to I want to be bulky item for any supporters or defenders. And when dropping to low HP, recover HP loss for each second. When dropping to low HP, recover HP loss each second for 3 seconds. Has a 90-second cooldown, and at level 20, you're gonna get a 14% HP loss regen. That's really good. That's an incredible regeneration, especially in the early game. This just adds tons of sustain for your defenders or your supporter, and I think this item is really good. All-arounders also love this item as well, so a lot of Pokemon end up using Focus Band. I think it's in a perfect spot, and I don't think it should be nerfed, honestly. I think it is... A tier is like a perfect spot in the meta, and that doesn't really need to be nerfed. And then Rocky Helmet is just another bad item. I'm actually going to put this in Do Not Eat. Because so it increases your HP and defense, which is very similar to Assault Vest. However, after absorbing enough damage, deal % damage based on your max HP to nearby opponents. 2-second cooldown, 10% HP damage trigger in a single attack. And at level 20, you get 5% max HP. The issue with this, Rocky Helmet only procs once per fight. So you're literally only getting this effect once per fight, and that's not great. Originally, everyone thought this would be doing constant output, or at least maybe every few seconds, but nope, it's once per fight. So I think it's a garbage item, and I think they need to relook at this item and lower the proc on its cooldown ability. That is for sure. And then we got Scope Lens. I think Scope Lens is a great item. Scope Lens is the crit item. Increases the damage of basic attack critical hits. The higher attack, the more damage is increased. and that has a 1-second cooldown. And at level 20, this has a 75% of your attack stat. So this is the go-to crit item for someone like Absol, because obviously it combines well with its ability, but also for someone like a Greninja or a Cinderace or any raw attackers, someone who wants to do insane damage, Scope Lens is very good. I mean, the critical hit chance and damage boost are wonderful, and crits do matter. Crits will win you team fights, crits will take objectives, so just an awesome item. It's not used necessarily in too many Pokemon, but it is the perfect version of the item that will fit for these Pokemon that want an item like this. So I don't think this item should be touched. I think it's in a great spot overall. Then Score Shield, I'm actually going to put this in S tier. A little bit surprising. I think this item needs to be nerfed a little bit. So this gives a raw HP boost. It's probably the second biggest HP boost to Buddy Barrier, so it's already comparable there. And shields you while attempting to score a goal. Scoring cannot be interrupted while the shield remains active, which has a 6-second cooldown. And at level 20, the shield is 10% of your HP. That is insane, 10% of your HP. So if you're running Score Shield and Buddy Barrier, you already have so much HP added on. And let's say you're like a defender, like a Snorlax or a Blissey, or a supporter like a Wiggly, or, you know, things like that. You're going to have tons of HP. And now combine this item with someone who can make shields. So you're a Lucario, you have your own shield. Oh, and let's say you have an Eldegoss your team. You just put a shield, Eldegoss just put a shield on Lucario's shield, and now they have to break through both shields before they even get to the Score shield. And it's just, and essentially, like, it is the ultimate backdoor item. It is like the item that makes Crustle so good. I like that this item exists in the sense that you prevents, like in a Pokemon, when they jump onto their goal, you don't automatically just get stunned and stop, you know, scoring the goal. I like that part, but man, it gets crazy when Score Shield is stacked with other shields, and then it makes the Pokemon unstoppable to do anything with. And it combines so well Buddy Berry because they use their ult, and now every Pokemon has a shield. Like any Pokemon's Buddy Berry uses their ult, and now they got a shield too. And then they use a Score Shield. It's a great combo. It's where the meta is right now, but I think it needs to be tuned down a bit. And Shell Bell, I'm gonna put over in the B tier. I think this item actually needs a buff. I used to love this item. It gives a special attack boost and cooldown reduction, which is pretty good. And this passive has a recover HP when successfully landing a move. The higher your special attack, the more HP recovered, based on your special attack stat. So it could be 75 HP at level 20. It's pretty solid sustain. I used to run this on Slowbro a lot, but at the end of the day, something like Muscle Band ends up doing a better job for damage than Shell Bell. And you're coming in for the HP recovery, but the reality is the HP recovery doesn't matter too much. So it's like, what's the cooldown reduction? And I sort of rather run Energy Amp for some Pokemon. I just don't see what Pokemon is running Shell Bell right now. But I do think it's a solid item. I just think we need a Pokemon that could fit it better, and I do think its stats could be increased a little bit more. Actually, I'm gonna go put this into C tier ahead of Aeos Cookie, because yeah, it isn't really being run right now, but I do like what the item does. This is a D tier item. Special attack specs. Increases your special attack by 24 points. It's just like another score item like Aeos Cookie. It's the exact same thing as the attack weight, but just for special attack. And as I said before, it's just, this is only going to do well if you can actually score, and, you know, are you going to get 6 scores in one match? You're really going to have to be trying. You're really going to need a build. You're going to have to combine it with Score Shield, so it's going to limit your options in a way. I just don't think it's that great of an item. And our last item here is going to be Wise Glasses, which I'm going to put B tier. So Wise Glasses just increases your special attack. This is our special attack steroid. I think Wise Glasses got robbed because something like a Muscle Band exists. Wise Glasses increases your special attack by 7% and also gives a raw boost. But Muscle Band gives you a raw boost, but then also does bonus damage based on how low the opponent's HP is and attack speed increase. So Muscle Band usually beats out Wise Glasses for special attackers, but you know, this needs something else. So Wise Glasses needs like one more like line of text here that does something. It's a fair item, but I think it can definitely be boosted to A tier. Well, guys, please let me know in the comments how you feel about this tier list. and let me know what you feel about the items, what you want to see buff, what you want to see nerfed, and how excited you are for the mobile launch coming out next week. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.